Like, I don't have a red dress, just to be clear.
Oh my God.
Here we are.
Wild on this?
They're the ones that wouldn't let me go to that parade.
Where is this?
Yeah.
That's
So we're trying to say that
Would you like to be a carrigan?
where there's a ring.
And now you have to.
That's, I gave you too much on my butt.
It's after 7 o'clock and I call this session of the Whitewater Student Government to order. If you could all rise with me as you're able to recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
With that, Madam Clerk Barrett, please call the roll.
Senator Carter.
Here.
Senator Culbertson.
Here.
Senator Dorsey. Here. Senator Dewey.
Here.
Senator Irwin.
Here.
Senator Esterhol. Here. Senator Steinwell. Senator Houston.
Here.
Senator Keller.
Here.
Senator Khan.
Here.
Senator Lapin. Senator Michael.
Here.
Senator Nielsen.
Present.
Senator Patricus.
Present.
Senator Rice. Senator Rosequist.
Present.
Senator Schmidt.
Present.
Senator West.
Present.
Senator Williams.
Present.
Speaker Wilson.
Present. With that, we will move into special orders for tonight.
One information.
Yes, Director Robinson.
Madam Clerk, can you please explain what you would like to be referred to as, just for consistency purposes?
I do not mind Clerk Cartwright or Clerk Emeritus Cartwright. I feel respected with both.
This is just unfamiliar territory, so I just wanted to make sure.
No kidding. Even for this one for.
Thank you, Director Robinson. With that, we'll move on to special orders, starting with the appointment to 3 off-campus district seats. Is there anyone in the gallery today interested in running for an off-campus district seat? Going once, going twice? Seeing none, we will move on to the appointment of 1 Esker district seat. Is there anyone in the gallery interested in running for an Esker district seat tonight? Going once, going twice? Seeing none, with that, we will move into the appointment of 2 Rock County district seats. Is there anyone in the gallery interested in running for a Rock County district seat tonight? Going once, going twice, seeing none. With that, we will move on to the appointment of 1 at-large district seat. Is there anyone in the gallery tonight interested in running for an at-large district seat? Going once, going twice, seeing none. With that, we will move into guest speakers, of which we have none, and then we will move swiftly into the approval of the agenda and minutes, starting with the minutes from October 14th, 2024. Can I get a motion to approve? Senator Houston?
Move to approve.
Seconded by Senator West. Can I get a voice vote?
Acclamation.
Wonderful. That is the approval of the minutes from October 14th. With that, we'll move on to the agenda for today. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda for today? Parliamentarian Patricus.
Move to approve.
Seconded by Senator Khan. Can I get a voice vote?
Acclamation.
Wonderful. Acclamation has been called, and with that, the agenda for today has been approved. With that, we'll move on to student issues and concerns. Are there any student issues and concerns in the galleries today? Going once, going twice, seeing none, we will move to reports, starting with external committee reports, of which we have none, and the internal committee reports, starting with the constitutional revisions committee reports. Director Reiser, you have the floor.
Okay. Thank you. So we had our first constitutional revision committee on Friday, and there I was nominated to be the chair of the committee. Deputy Speaker Irwin is the vice chair, and then Director Robinson is the secretary. And for those of you who don't know what CRC is, it's where if you have any changes that you would like to propose to the WSG Constitution or standing rules, then you'll bring those to the committee, and then we will review those to determine whether we want to bring them to the floor in a piece of legislation where you all will take a vote on whether we want to implement those changes. And so we have, at that first meeting, we outlined a plan for the remainder of the semester. We also discussed what it would be like for you all to put changes on the document if you would like to. So basically, you all have to share this document from Cartwright's email. And so you only have access to make suggestions. So basically, if you would go, if you wanted to change this, then you would, you all probably know how to make suggestions, so I probably don't need to totally explain all that. But this, I'd like to emphasize that all senators can propose and make changes if you would like. It's the committee that is going to go through all of those changes and take a vote, and then the ones that we narrow down, we will bring here in a piece of legislation, like I said earlier, and you will vote. So, yeah, that's pretty much the committee report. Does anyone have any questions?
Director Robinson?
What will be the process of vetting out priority for suggestions that are made?
So we are going to create a Google form, and so the committee is going to rank the priorities based off of like the sections. So we have section 1. So we would take a look, and the committee is going to go through and say, okay, I think that making the changes within section 1 is a higher priority than section 2. So then I'll go through the form and see, and then from there we'll just go based off of what the most pressing ones are.
Any other questions for Director Reiser? Deputy Speaker Owen?
Just to be clear, is it correct that the Constitutional Revision Committee can't block any changes, just make recommendations on them, and that any change suggested by the senators can go to the floor of the Senate in the form of legislation?
That's true.
Point of information, point of clarification, that is not an accurate statement.
Yeah, I don't believe it is either.
It's up to the discretion of the committee, if I'm not mistaken, to see what goes up and what does not. It's up to the discretion of the committee.
That's incorrect. We make recommendations on the proposed changes, but we don't have the authority to block legislation from reaching the floor of the Senate.
But the
I would
speaker
yield,
does.
I would yield to the parliamentarian in this instance.
I think we should just pull the standing rules and see what they say.
That's what I'm doing right now. I'm sorry,
I
Mom,
believe
I'm
it'd be
not.
section 8. 8.3.
Yeah.
I'll yield to the advisor.
I'll look very quickly.
Sure.
I don't believe that's the case, and I would very much encourage us not to use the word block. Typically, how the CSC has worked before, CRC, pardon me, has worked before, too many acronyms in my world, worked before is that it's the committee vets the concept, and it's when it's legislation that changes the standing rules, right? They have to come with pros and cons for that change. So I'd be happy to.
I found it already.
Oh, perfect. Why don't you read it and correct us all, myself
Literally
included, probably.
8B. All proposed changes to the WSG Constitutional Standard Rules must be sent to CRC for review. But then it also says the changes by the Senate may not be delayed or stopped by CRC. So they do go to the CRC to be reviewed, which I thought was discussed by the chair and stated by the chair. They just can't block them, but there will be a pros and cons. So if the cons list outweighs the pros, I think that's self-explanatory.
Yeah, I mean, I would yield to the standing rules in that we should stop using the verbiage blocked, but they cannot be delayed or stopped by the CRC. So, if you have a point of information, you're more than welcome. If you'd like to. I think that helps.
So there are 2 ways to review the standing rules. They can be sent to CRC, or they can originate from CRC. We are going through the process of originating through CRC. So if you have changes, I would propose to put them on the rolling suggestion document. But they can also be submitted in a form of legislation to the Senate to review, in which case they would be sent to CRC to review. But CRC can't say, we're stopping this from going on. It can go up no matter what CRC says.
I would yield to advisor vote.
I have a question though. In the past, when that subcommittee has done their work, they then take it and put it in a form of legislation, and that's ultimately what the Senate will thumbs up or thumbs down. So that is, and then that's when the chair of the subgroup or the committee comes and says, this is a pro and con to these changes. That's my recollection of previous precedent or process. But I would encourage people to wait and see what comes out of there. I've never had them bring everything forward that's been suggested unless there was a consensus from the group. But
Yeah, I would say to the Senate, I'll ask it in the form of a question to Director Reiser. How can I find this document?
It's in the clerk the email that the clerk sent to us today, I believe. There's a link.
And if I click that link,
You will see
I will end up
this.
on this document.
Yep.
Wonderful. And if I'm in my school account, I can then make suggestions on this document. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Wonderful. And those suggestions will go to our committee meeting, starting with yourself, and then to all of us. And if any of those suggestions for any reason are delayed by CRC, in line with the standing rules, senators are more than welcome to write that in the form of legislation, and it will go to the body, but it must be reviewed first by either the chair of the Constitutional Review Committee or the entire body. But that does not delay or stop it. That legislation is still fine to hit the floor. That was a lot. Are there any more questions for Director Reiser or Director Robinson?
It's only, point of information, it's only open to uww.edu students. So if you try to log in from any other email, it will not work.
That was a lot. Any other questions? Going once, there's no harm in asking a question here. I want this to be well understood by the body. Going twice, seeing none, we will move swiftly on to officer reports. Thank you very much, Director Reiser. Starting with the report of our president, Mr. Douglas Allen Bradley III.
Good evening. I'll keep it brief. We're hiring a PR director, so please apply in Connect 2 or have others you know who you think would be a good fit apply. For the sake of time, I'll yield my report.
Any questions for President Bradley and I? Seeing none, we will move on to the report of our Vice President, Parker Bennett.
I'd like to yield to my report with an exception of two things. First thing was the safety walk, which we attended last week. It's a very fruitful experience. Gave us some goals on how to improve campus safety. If you'd like more details, please come see Director Robinson or I after. And I'd like to echo Doug's statement before. We're still looking for a PR director. So if you would like to apply or know someone who would like to, send them up.
Any questions for the Vice President tonight? Once seeing none, we will move on to the report of WSG Weekly.
thank you, Mr. Speaker. Hi, everyone. Good to see you all. I'd like to read a piece of information about the safety walk that came back because I think it's important for you all to hear. This comes from Gabby, who is the Chief of Staff for our Chancellor. It says, I wanted to share how impressed I was with WSG members during the safety walk tonight. They did an outstanding job. Everything was well coordinated and communicated clearly. The group was prepared, thoughtful, and professional, and they presented the student feedback exceptionally well. I appreciated how they engaged with staff and asked insightful questions. It was great to see such a strong representation of leadership and collaboration. So best from Gabby. So for all of you who contributed and coordinated, thank you for doing that. That's super important. The only other part of my report is that I did get an email. I've been out coughing up my lungs for about 6 weeks, and our deputy speaker has reached out to me about how we're going to manage some of the makeup about viewpoint neutrality, and I have an answer for you tonight. But other than that, I will yield to questions.
Any questions for everybody? Once seeing none, we will move on to the e-board reports, starting with Director Reiser.
So for the sake of time, I'm just going to mention one thing really briefly. So if you see in my report, there is an opportunity for any of you to participate in the Curricular Innovation Conference. And this is on November 8th from 8:30 to 1. And it's pretty much a place where the university faculty and staff come together to see, talk about the curriculum and how to keep how to keep it continuing to evolve. So this year, it is focused on AI, And so if you would like to go to that, it is very welcomed. I emailed the dean today to see the exact time that the panels and the lunch is at. I did talk to Parliamentarian Patricus, and it would count as an outreach event if any of you still need one of those. So if you're interested in going, please let me know. I would love to see you there. I will be there from 8:30 to 1, but again, I will find out exactly what time the panels and lunch is at. With that, are you any questions?
Any questions for Director Reiser tonight? Going once, going twice, seeing none, we will move on to the report of Director of Student Affairs. Director Robinson.
I'm just gonna say one thing. In the spirit of homecoming, student affairs and academic affairs will be canceled for the next 2 weeks. We want to really, really emphasize engagement in homecoming, whether that's with WSG or other student organizations. You only get this time once a year, so really take advantage and dive all in. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I yield to any questions.
Any questions for Director Robinson? Volunteer chief?
If I'm new or unfamiliar with the safety walk, can you just give a brief explanation of what that looks like in practice?
Sure. You rent out golf carts and you drive around. So the smart notes is last year we did not do the safety walk because we were already having abundance of safety conversations already, and the safety walk at that time would have caused some issues. So when Doug was the director of student affairs and I was the associate, we decided to just not do it because we were already having conversations, a lot of conversations around safety and some drastic changes. So I took the feedback that I got last year and then I compiled it with the feedback that I got this year, and I created a document for administrators to be able to refer to. We drove around on golf carts. We went at night preferred so we can see the lights as they turn on, as they turn off, and we can truly see what spots were dim. We drove around, had some conversations, talked about price range and what the price is to install. Like, for example, one of the places was the back of McGraw. Students said when you're walking from the library, the back of McGraw is pretty dark. We talked about what the price would be to install a light pole. I actually learned some insightful information. I thought it would be cheaper to put a light on a building and just have it hang down, but we learned that it would be easier to just install a full pole. So it would be easier with the electric and everything. It would be easier to install a full pole, and the turnover for that could actually be as easy as over the summer or spring. So we had a bunch of different conversations like that. We also looked at Prairie Street. We talked about, do we think Prairie Street is too dark? Realized that some of the lights on that street were out. So we had a conversation about that. We actually had, and also talked about Schwager and what Schwager would look like if we added another crosswalk and how that could potentially disturb the flow of traffic or create another obstacle for drivers trying to drive through, especially with the closure of Stan Road.
Well, any other questions for Director Robinson? Going once, going twice, seeing none. I would just like to say the safety walk is one of the most important ways that we directly affect student safety, and to hear the comments that Advisor Logan read out earlier, like, you're a superstar, bro. So thank you very much. It is not an easy event to host, so you did a great job, my friend. And with that, we'll move on to the Director of Intergovernmental Affairs report, Mr. Smith.
I'm still working on Election Day and pushing people to the polls. Other than that, I'm currently recovering from a pretty severe illness, so please be patient with me if I don't get back to you as soon as I usually do. Other than that, I yield to my report.
Any questions for Director Smith? Once, going twice, seeing none, we will move on to the report of the district court emeritus.
Alright. Hello everyone, just some election reminders. The election packets were due on the 18th. The ballots do have write-in options, so take that for what it means to you. The candidates who submitted packets have been notified of the packets verification. So if you have not heard from me, let's chat, because due to the transition, things might have gotten lost. And then the election is the 5th and 6th. The ballots will be sent via email, but we always do have paper options. If accommodations are needed or for some reason it doesn't work, I just wanted to let everyone know that for part of the week this week, I will not be on campus, but please still email me. I should have my phone and my email and all that jazz, so.
Any questions for Clerk Emeritus? Parliamentary chiefs?
If I was unable to fill out a election packet or did not for whatever reason, what are my options if I'm interested in being on the Senate next year?
Like I said, there is the write-in option, and then maybe if you're not appointed by ballot, we do always have, like we do at the beginning of every meeting, but please keep in mind that if you do win a seat, or if you want to do another term, that starts not after the election, but when the next semester starts.
Director Robinson?
Can you just clarify really quick, because I was confused. So I know others were confused. So if I don't get elected as a senator, you mentioned a new year, you said a new calendar year, and then what does that term look like? So if I don't get elected, can I show up to the next Senate meeting on Monday and run for a seat?
Yes, so all of your, and I would yield to Speaker Wilson as well, but all of if you run for a seat this week and you get it, your term and all of the senators in the room's term is done when the semester is up, when we go for fall break. So if you run for a seat the week before fall break, you're served 1 week and then you have to come back in the spring and come up again and answer the questions. So winter break, sorry, but in the spring semester, if that makes sense.
Any other questions? All I would add to that is to say, so if you did not get your signatures turned in, a write-in campaign, what that would look like is you would go around campus and in the same way every other senator is going to ask people to vote for them, you just need to have the folks who are going to vote for you write your name in instead of clicking one of the boxes that are already on the ballot. So you just need to go around and collect votes that way, which is going to be slightly different from somebody who's already on the ballot. And if you don't do that, or you don't win a seat through that election, whether it's a write-in campaign or your name's already on the ballot, then by the first meeting of the spring semester, you are more than welcome to come. You'll sit in the gallery, and if we have open seats still available, which is normally pretty likely, you can come up to the podium and run to be appointed again. Does that make sense to everyone? Any questions on that for either myself or Clerk Emeritus?
So would it be correct is that if you didn't turn your signatures on to have your name printed on the ballot, you are absolutely still able to be elected should you get the correct or proper number of write-in votes?
Most definitely. I would know, and I have never once been on the ballot, if that makes you guys feel any better. Folks. I was doing pretty well all up until I could. And with that, we'll move on to the report of our Senate parliamentarian, Mr. Nick.
Happy Monday. Just a couple quick updates for you here. So if you're interested in homecoming and you have not received any information or communication from me, send me an email. We had a very productive kickoff meeting on Friday. Your second outreach event is due this Friday. So thank you to everyone who has already submitted one. Reach out to me if you have any questions or want to set up a one-on-one or have any comments on the guidelines. They are up in the office. They're also in your email. If you have trouble finding them, again, reach out to me. I'd like to congratulate Senator Zay Khan on his recent appointment to SUFAC as the Positive Letters and Science representative. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I yield.
Any questions for the parliamentarian? Going once, going twice. I have one. So if I was interested in homecoming, with the understanding that you probably don't have the list of events in front of you right now, could you give the Senate a brief outlook on what some of the events, whether you're someone who's new to the school, new to the Senate, new to participating in an org homecoming, what are some of the things we do? Is there a talent show? Is there a parade? What does that look like? How can I get involved?
Yeah, so there's a banner that'll be due the 25th. So every org has one of those that they will submit. They'll be hanging out at the UC concourse right over there. There is on Monday night, which is next Monday night, There's a study night, which I would encourage everyone to go to. This is also where they're revealing the homecoming report. That's at 7 p.m. Tuesday at 7 p.m. in the Hamilton room, there is trivia. So we do already have a team set up for that, but you can go watch and support the org. Wednesday, they're at 7 and at 8, there's bingo. So what they do is they set up big long tables in the Hamilton room and get as many people in the room as they can to play bingo, a couple rounds of bingo. Thursday, there's a talent show, on which our lovely Mr. Speaker will be participating. If we have more people interested, I'd love to have you and put in an actual event or an actual show. So it's not just a day out there juggling or, I don't know what your juggling skills are or whatever you have planned, but I'd love to get more people up there.
It's quite the town. Come find that.
Friday at 7, there is a spirit rally and a bonfire. So this will be in the lot, right by the UC there. So just a bunch of towers will pile up and single fires. And then on Saturday, there is a parade. So it's on Main Street and up the Prairie. There'll be a parade that we're participating with Senator Carter's truck. Yeah, so it's just kind of a week-long event of a bunch of different activities that are fun and you should participate in.
And that's a competition of which we plan to do.
It is a competition, so we come up here and talk about how you want to raise student government awareness. I think this is a perfect opportunity to do that.
Wonderful. Any other questions for the parliamentarian? Seeing none, I will add, you might have been thinking as you were listening to the parliamentarian there about some of the homecoming events. Was I just encouraged to go to an event that was not this at Monday at 7? Do not be alarmed. We will be in here on Monday at 7, but it is traditionally a pretty brief meeting. And it will be casual, as you will learn when your agenda gets sent out. So you're free to wear more everyday clothes. But I would also encourage you to join us as we meander on down to that study night. We are going to be quite brief that night. That's a pretty historic tradition. So that'll be a brief meeting. Do not be alarmed if you plan on going that study night. With that, we'll move on to the report of our deputy speaker. Ms. Flicker?
So firstly, 2 items, both to do with absences. As you heard in the advisor's report, we're going to be doing some training for those of you who missed the Senate retreat. So for those of you who missed it, please keep your eyes on your email. It's very, very important training. The second thing is there were a large number of unexcused absences for office hours last week. If you attended your office hour and forgot to fill out the form, please come see me after the meeting so we can get that sorted out. And I'd like to reemphasize how important it is that you fulfill all your obligations as senators. Office hours are a great time to either get some WSG work done or form connections with people in the org, as well as making ourselves available to students who might just want to walk in and discuss their issues with us. So please ensure that you are attending your office hours every week. And besides that, I wanted to add for CRC, if you have any questions about the standing rules, are looking to help writing them, please come to any member of Senate leadership, or would you be comfortable with people coming to you for help? Or the chair of CRC for assistance writing those. We'd all be more than happy to help you. And I yield to questions.
Any questions for the deputy speaker of parliamentarian duties?
What happens if I don't do my office hour?
Excellent question. You get a unexcused absence. If you accumulate 4 unexcused absences, you are automatically expelled from the org. Or proceedings automatically begin to expel you from the org.
Any other questions for the deputy speaker?
What if I complete my office hour, but fail to fill out the form? Is it still an unexcused absence?
It will depend on the situation. If you have someone who can vouch for your presence there, or if you can show some work that you completed during the time, WSG related work, then it will count. But if you forget to fill it out, always just come see me to see if we can figure something out. It is my primary, it's one of my goals as deputy speaker to make sure no one has to leave the org. So I'm very enthusiastic about helping you get rid of those unexcused absences.
Any other questions for the deputy speaker? Going once, going twice, seeing none. We'll move into my report. Last week I did tons of null stuff. We're coming at the end of that. So shout out to all the wonderful folks out there. My heart is out to you all. Met with Senate leadership, was in CRC, did the homecoming kickoff meeting, which was very productive. It was quite well. Made some office signage. So our wonderful parliamentarian hung it up near the fridge and on the fridge. All it says is that if you have food in the fridge, we would like it to be labeled, and if it's not, it can be discarded. We're not looking to throw any food away. Like, some stuff kind of lingers in there for about a week, and that should probably be expelled before mold begins to cultivate. So that's on the fridge now, but above the fridge, there's a much more important piece of signage that says that on top of the fridge, there are tons of important handouts. So right now, you'll see the freedom of expression statement that WSG helped write. If you want to peruse that, you're more than welcome. There's some signage about freedom of, I yield to the deputy speaker as to what the other piece of literature is on there.
Oh, it is a advertisement for, I suppose you could call a discussion group with the goal of enhancing your ability to conduct civil dialogue with each other. So that will be happening on the 30th. There's a forum downstairs in the Senate office like we're just discussing. So you can go check that out and pre-register for the event.
That's a pretty communal space, the top of the fridge. So if you have something you'd like to put there, put it there. If you want the entire Senate to review, whether it's WSG related or just about orgs meeting on campus that you think would be relevant for lots of folks in the WSG office to see. Otherwise, this week, more NALT, the finishing of NALT, likely, or Ross, I guess. Textbook rental committee's meeting for the first time with Dr. Eric Lepp. I'm on the edge of my seat, I can't wait. He was prepping me on so many plans that he has, and I'm really more excited for textbook rental. Otherwise, I yield any questions. Are there any questions for myself? Once, twice, seeing none, we will move into unfinished business, of which we have none, then into new business, if we have the Senate seat allocation. Madam Clerk Barris, you have the floor. Would you like to walk us through Senate seat allocation?
Woohoo, your favorite thing to do.
Alright, hello everyone. So every year we look at the numbers of kind of where our students live to determine how the 27th Senate seat should be kind of divided up proportionately. So I got the total enrollment number from the registrar's office, and then Drumlin and Esker from housing. And then I calculated off-campus and on-campus with the following equations. The little stars that you will see do come from our governing documents. I'm not totally sure if it's our constitution or standing rules, but it's just copy and paste. So the first thing I did is I found the percentage of the students who live off campus compared to our total enrollment. And then our documents say that we take that number and divide it, rounding towards the off-campus number. So 65.38% of students lived off campus, which that percentage of 25 because 2 seats already went to Rock, is 16. We round down, so we rounded 16 divided by 2, which is how we get 8 at large and 8 off-campus seats. So then the opposite, here's the equations, but it's basically just what's left over for on-campus, which is 9. And then we divide the 9 of on campus by Drumlin and Esker by doing the same thing, looking at the percentages, and then rounding either down or up. This is the exact document besides numbers that was used in last year's allocation. And it turns out that although we have different enrollment and people living where, we do have the same allocation as we do now, 2 and then 8, 8, 4, 5, for a total of 27. So I yield to any questions.
Any questions for questions? Going once, going twice. I have one. Is it true that in years past, there was a lot of very intentional math done to make sure that these are
Yes.
pretty hardwired percentages that
Yep.
we stick to year after year?
Definitely a lot of hard work has gone into this specifically. I will also state that if you do look at our documents, it says that this needed to be done by October 7th. And it wasn't that anyone maliciously didn't do it, it just didn't happen. And then I was like, I was reviewing my old training documents that I wrote, and then I was like, oh no, we have to do that. So that's why we did it quick, but yes.
Is it true that you're super awesome in reviewing your training documents?
I would yield to it. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
It's like the worst algebra problem ever, basically. And we have a cheat sheet to help us do it.
On the term, please.
Can you just briefly touch on how this process, which is relatively new in the last 1 or 2 years, compared to the previous math, but how the previous math of determining the allocation?
I would yield to Advisor Billigan. I think it was just that the language, even the language now, takes a little bit of thought, but the previous language was complex and it, I don't even know.
You know how 2 different people budget or do math and you come up with the same answer? It's the same thing. Anna Schwartz, who was the clerk who wrote that, I can't even tell you what year she was clerk, but probably before Isabel was alive, did it one way, and then this way was simplified. So it's the same thing. It's just this way, I guess, speaks to more people. So I think it makes more sense to communicate it as such.
Any other questions from the parents? Once, going twice, seeing none, we will pause for a minute. And then move into a roll call vote, of which I encourage you to vote aye. Madam Clerk, when you are ready, could you please call the vote?
Senator Carter,
Aye.
Senator Culberson,
Aye.
Senator Dorsey,
Aye.
Senator Dewey,
Aye.
Senator Irwin,
Aye.
Senator Esterholm,
Aye.
Senator Houston,
Aye.
Senator Keller,
Aye.
Senator Khan,
Aye.
Senator Michael, Senator Michael. Okay, we can. Senator Nielsen,
Aye.
Senator Patricus,
Aye.
Senator Rosequist,
Aye.
Senator Schmidt,
Aye.
Senator West, Senator Williams, Speaker Wilson.
Aye. And with that, the Senate seat allocation for 2024 has been approved unanimously. And with that, we will move on to announcements. Are there any announcements tonight? Bradley?
Our PR director, please apply or have others do so.
1,100 emails went out. And
Going around, Director Smith?
In-person absentee voting starts tomorrow in the city of Whitewater at the municipal office, 8 a.m. to 4:30 most days until the election.
Going around, any other announcements? Any other announcements? Any other announcements? Any other announcements? President Bradley again?
Elections committee will be right after this.
Elections committee will be right after this. Any other announcements? Parliamentary retreats?
If you have any questions about outreach, please continue.
Any other announcements? Any other announcements? I have one. The CRC stuff, kind of confusing earlier. If you have any questions, Chair Reiser, great, great resource there. Any members of that committee would be totally helpful. We want everybody to feel super included in this process. So thank you for dealing with the small lack of haste and a bit of a confusion, but we got there in the end. So thank you all very much. With that, we will move on to adjournment. Can I get a motion to adjourn? Parliamentary Patricus.
Motion to adjourn.
Seconded by Senator Nielsen. Can I get a voice vote? All righty, and at 7:39, we are out of here.
Oh.
What a lie! What a lie!
How we were gonna vote, how I think.
Mr. Speaker, I gotta give it to you for the whole.
I have a question. On that line, the house.
I figured Elizabeth said he gave recommendations.
For the write-in? Yeah. What it is kind of, so how being a write-in
What I told him today, I can't speak on behalf of the
So,
city.
in terms of the
Seems like they're not.
I don't
I forget how I said it.
The 21st
So I told him how I'm.
what that ballot looks like is basically like if you click into the email, it goes like off-campus senators. There's Patricius, Isaiah, Carter.
I can't tell you. No, I also.
Now, let's say Patricius didn't get those signatures, he could still be voted for off-campus, at large, after district representatives there, it doesn't matter. You can write his name as, so, what would you like?
Yeah, so I should just be communicating with people to write my name down off campus.
In past, there have been people to write them. Like it is not.
And it's just via email.
Yeah, so the day of the election, the email will go out every single person. So you go up to them and say, hey, you open your email, if you're like, not this one or this one, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Just go up to people and say like, hey, you want to open your email? I can't open anything for you, but I can go to what and it's right in my name where I want you to write it in. And that would be like, and if there's like spelling errors and stuff, it gets worked through, you'll make it.
Like it's literally like writing yourself. It's not a terrible part. Let's see, there's only 4 candidates and there's 12 seats, and